Support for Audacious with Kyone Wolf provided by a generous contribution from Suzanne Hopgood in memory of Frank Lord.
From Connecticut Public Radio in Hartford, this is Audacious. I'm Kyone Wolf, currently on rollerblades, trying not to wipe out and pretending I am 10 years old again. When I was a kid, we lived at the bottom of a hill, and I skated all the time. I loved the wind in my face, my wobbly knees, and that unstoppable, slightly reckless joy. And sometimes, this was a terrible idea, a brilliant one, or a little bit of both, I'd rollerblade while strapped to our German Shepherd, Alex. I would clip his leash onto my belt loop, say, "Go!" and let him pull me full speed down the street like some tiny, screaming charioteer. Somehow we never crashed, but I don't know if Alex knew how close he was to launching me into orbit. Or maybe he did. Now, all these decades later, skating is more of a nostalgic novelty for me, something I dust off now and then for fun. But there's some people who not only never took the skates off, but who took their relationship with them to the next level. In a little bit, you'll meet the 2024 Men's National Jam Skating Champion, LeRoy Mcsmith. Jam skating's like breakdancing, gymnastics, and roller skating all mashed together. It's fast, creative, and super intense. LeRoy talks about how skating helped him through some of his life's hardest chapters, and how it feels to compete at the highest level while keeping your standards sky high. And then we'll go international and a little bit interdimensional with Jean-Yves Bondu, aka Rollerman. He invented this full-body suit covered in wheels, hands, elbows, chest, back, even his butt. He lays down in the suit and bombs down mountains at like 70 miles an hour. It is crazy. Alex would have loved trying to keep up with him. But first, we're going to roll into Bridgeport, Connecticut, where Takina Pollock-Schaefer is leading a movement on wheels. She founded Skateport, a pop-up roller skating event that's all about joy, community, and just showing up and moving together. Like a lot of us, Takina has memories of going to roller skating parties as a kid, but then she rediscovered skating as an adult. In 2021, she had the idea to host a roller skating pop-up, and people loved it. Takina sat down with our Deputy Director of Audio Storytelling and Talk Shows, Robin Doyon-Aitken, to talk about her work and the community of skaters who keep showing up.
You will see some seasoned people. You will see some people who have never skated a day in their life. I get such a really interesting mix of people. It's a really diverse mix of people. We have all different nationalities, races, languages, sexualities. Like everybody wants to skate, and I think that's really beautiful. It's a really good feeling to be able to bring something to people that brings them joy. So, it's a nice break for people from, everything else that's happening in the world. It's something joyful that they can look forward to. It's something different. And there's no roller skating rinks in Fairfield County, so it's really nice for all of us to have somewhere to go that's closer to home. And yeah, people are meeting new friends out here, which is really exciting. Like people are like, oh yeah, like I met them at Skateport. I'm waiting for my first, engagement to happen at Skateport. I'm manifesting it. We'll see if that happens. But it's just a really nice way for people to feel connected to each other and to feel connected to the sport or art, however they decide to look at it.
We're in radio land, so people can't see. You are a young Black woman. Do you feel any connection to your culture when you're doing this?
Definitely, yeah. Roller skating has deep roots in the African-American community and Black community. And I think, that's probably part of why there's not as many roller skating rinks as there used to be, because it's a place where, people can gather and be together. That's one of the biggest threats to white supremacy is connectedness. So definitely, I know there's some rinks that suffered from, changes to rules that target Black skaters specifically. Certain types of wheels or certain styles of skating that you can't do in some rinks. So you still see it today. And I think the resilience of skaters being like, we're going to create our own spaces. We're going to skate outside. We're going to do something different. There's a film, United Skates, that we did a couple of screenings of when we first started. So that really explores the connection between the Black skating community and roller skating and what happened to roller skating rinks across the country. So you can check that out too.
Yeah, I learned that in the 1950s, roller skating rinks were segregated. And so I wondered if for you, as the founder of Skateport, if organizing these skate events was in part a way to sort of reclaim skating back and have it a safe space to celebrate your culture.
Definitely. Yeah. I think exactly what you said. It's a way to bring people together, to bring, Black people, everybody together. I think it's a place where if Black people feel safe, everybody feels safe. That's what it's about, is creating a space where everybody feels like they belong, everybody feels like there's something for them, and that, people want them there. Being able to take space and create spaces for skaters has been really exciting. We do that here at Foolproof Brewing Company, so we're really lucky that they let us come in here and skate. And then our summertime events are in downtown Bridgeport, so we close off a street and we skate outside. So that's really exciting, being able to literally take back the streets for people too.
Yeah, exactly. I can imagine. And for people who have never been to Foolproof, in the area that we are where the skating takes place, you would not know that is not a skating rink. I mean, it's got the music, it's got the lights, it's got the great floor. It's like the acoustics of a roller skating rink. It's everything that you would hope it would be, yet it is a pop-up.
Yeah. So the first time I saw pictures of this place, I'm like, I want to skate on that floor. Like that would be really fun. So it's been exciting. It's been safe. We've brought, I think, 1,000 people at this point here this year. So it's been really exciting.
Where does the name come from? Is it just like that thing that people do in Bridgeport where they put port after everything?
Yes. Yes. I know New Haven does it. I know Hartford does it, and Bridgeport does it too. So Skateport, is, one of many, I think, adequately named things in Bridgeport. So, our roots are here. Like, we're mobile, so we have gone to different places. But ultimately, the heart and soul of Skateport is here in Bridgeport. So I wanted that to be part of our name.
One of the things that Skateport staffers do is give lessons. So why is it important to you the newbie skaters of Bridgeport have a place where they can learn how to skate and you can get the community skating confidently and regularly?
I think exactly that. We want people to feel confident. We want people to come back. I think sometimes when people have a bad experience, or, a bad fall, or they just don't feel safe on their skates, they don't want to come back. So I think the lessons are really helpful. They're helpful for parents too, who are worried about their kids who maybe aren't afraid enough. And, we have a lot of risk takers, and it's a nice way to connect with people too. I think especially adults. We do some adult lessons. We do some lessons for kids. We do some that are mixed. I think skating lessons are a fairly new thing. Like, I think most people that were taking lessons were doing like artistic skating, years ago. So that is not what we do. So we teach, I would say, more of like a casual style of skating, or different styles of skating. We do like basic roller dance. We do some intermediate lessons. We do some newbie, beginner, I've never skated before, I don't know what I'm doing kinds of lessons. So building those skills for people, and I think that builds the community too, and it gets people to get excited.
I understand that part of the motivation for founding Skateport was to shake off the anxieties of 2020 and embrace joy. So in what ways do you think skating is good for mental health, and what do you get out of it?
You kind of have to focus on what's right in front of you. It's the whole body. Like, I think people mostly just think about their feet, but it's all of your joints. It's your knees, it's your shoulders. It's, you're looking around, what's around you, what's on the floor, who's around you. I think it's a way to be present. You can't really worry about what's on the news or, what's happening tomorrow or whatever else. You're just worrying about finishing the skate session, and then, everything else is waiting for you afterwards. I think it's a way to stay present. It's a way to connect with other people. I don't know, there's something about the momentum of like moving around with other people that I think just builds that connection for folks, and, gives us a nice break from whatever else is going on.
So when I was growing up, there was Great Skate West in Bristol, Connecticut. And my favorite part, even as a little girl, I would just love the parts where like the slow songs would come on and you would hold hands with someone, and like, I don't know if people think of, you were hoping somebody might get engaged or married roller skating, but like there's that whole idea that those 5 minutes that the song is going, that you're maybe holding hands.
Yeah, I think people are very touch starved too. So we do a lot of partner skating too, and it's not always necessarily intimate or romantic, right? Like there's a lot of, like my skate partner, like, is strictly platonic, but it's like, I think just being able to connect with people in that way too is really helpful. I think after COVID, especially where I was like, trying to stay 6 feet away from people, being able to be closer with people in that way, in a way that feels safe and secure, is really nice.
At any celebration where there's a DJ and there's music, there are songs that get everybody up and out on the dance floor. What's the equivalent of that for the skate world? Like, are there certain songs that are just irresistible?
I think it depends. I think there was a point where like Beyonce came out with a bunch of songs that really got people going. Like I think really whatever is popular, like people are gonna go for on skates, definitely. You know, Bruno Mars came out with Skate, and that usually gets people going. So, you know, that's like this generation's rock, skate, roll, bounce. I think that's definitely one that people love for sure.
What can a person get from skating that they can't get from anything else?
It can give you some really unique leg muscles, definitely. I think it just sort of feeds your soul in a different way. You know, it's not skateboarding, it's not dancing, it's not riding a bike. It's something that just exists in the in-between. I don't know, it's nostalgic, but it's also like fresh and back and new. So I think it exists in the in-between. I think it's like a way of capturing time in a way that I don't think any other sport or art really does in the same way.
I love that you say sport or art. It is kind of a combination of those two things.
Yeah, it's definitely both. You know, like some people skate for speed, some people skate, you know, for style, some people skate, you know, just like every once in a while. And I think it can be as serious, you know, and intense as you want it to be, or it can just be something that, you know, you come out and do every couple of weekends. So it's nice that you can be super invested, you can be a little bit invested, or, you know, you can just rent some skates and do your best and come out on the floor, and it's just as fun, you know, no matter what level people are at.
That's right. And we said sport, but that doesn't mean you have to be athletic to skate.
Not at all. Yeah, you can, you know, as long as you can stand up and move on your skates, then you can skate. So, you know, bend your knees and take your time is always my first tip for people. So I think sometimes people just stand up and try to go right into it like they're on their feet, but it does force you to slow down. So I think that's the part of being present that's really helpful for being on skates too, and, you know, that mental health piece.
So, of course, roller skating includes a fair amount of cardio, but it's also a close cousin of play. Why do you think it is that we skate as children, but for lots of people, adulting doesn't include time on the roller rink? Why is that? Why do we stop skating?
It's so interesting because looking at our data, we have a ton of kids that come in up until about age 12. We see a big drop off with teens. And then it picks back up in 20s, 30s, 40s are all about the same level of interest with us. I think there's something about the teen years, you know, where you lose your sense of play, unfortunately, and for some people that doesn't come back. But I think with skating existing in an interesting space and time, as people get older, they're like, oh yeah, like this is something that people used to do, or, you know, like let me try this and see. And I think social media has been helpful. I think it helps for people to see like you're not the only person who does this. There's so many different ways to do this. There's a lot of different things to learn and try. Something happens to the teens. I'm trying to pull them in.
It's all the falling. They're afraid of falling and like being so embarrassed, you know.
Definitely. I mean, I think that's, you know, typical teen things, but yeah, it's definitely a loss of play. And as adults, like either, you know, we get it back or we don't, but I think it's a nice way to experiment. And it's something that a lot of adults have been excited about. Like when I first started, people are like, oh, that's nice for the kids. And I'm like, okay, like we have adult size skates too. Like this is for you too. So I think giving people that permission and that invitation to come out and play has been really big too. So I'll work on our teens.
Tell our listeners, if they haven't skated in a minute, what does skating feel like really for you in your body?
It feels like floating. Like I think I have a different persona maybe on skates. It's a different level of confidence, but I think skating feels like floating. It feels like flying for some people. Yeah, it's an interesting way to capture time for sure.
Yeah, it's sort of like 1,000 different ways that you can be resilient, you know, because part of skating is to be a little bit off balance and get your balance back. You get back in a groove, you find the rhythm in the music again and start to skate to it, and you kind of have to just like You fall and you get up. Just like in life, you're going to have to do that 1,000 times.
Yeah, definitely. I think roller skating is a great metaphor for life. Like, things are going to happen. You're going to make mistakes. It's all in how you approach it. The way you fall is really important. So we go over that in our lessons too, keeping yourself like soft and flexible. If you're going to fall, just accept it. It's better to, just embrace it than to, fight it and lose with gravity. But yeah.
If I fall, I'm only soft. So.
Then that'll help. Yeah. So as long as you're getting back up and trying again, I think just getting over that, anxiety. It's like you can't expect to strap 8 wheels to your feet and not fall. So just embracing it, I think, is part of it for sure.
What do you love about the sensory experience of roller skating?
The sound experience, I definitely love wheels on anything, whether it's wood or concrete, skating outside. Like, I skate on the beach sometimes, so, like hearing the waves and then, like I don't know how to describe it, like the repetitive, like cracks of the sidewalk that you hit. But yeah, really wheels on anything. It's a great sound. It does something. It tickles my brain in a nice way.
In 2019 and 2020, when you were dreaming up this concept, did you ever think it was going to be, what it is today, where you really have built this thing and people are showing up? And so how do you feel about this thing that you've built? You do other things. This is just one of the things that you do.
Yeah, the evolution of Skateport has been amazing. It's been fast, but I think once I get something in my head, I'm doing it. And people's excitement keeps me coming back to it too. People being like, are you coming back? Are you going to do this again? Our long-term goal, I want a roller skating rink in Bridgeport. I think being from here originally and being able to bring this here and just see how excited and proud that it makes people too is really exciting. And being able to bring, between all of our events, I think we've brought over 4,000 people to Bridgeport. I want people to know that Bridgeport has a lot of really amazing things, and Skateport is just one of many.
Thank you so much. I know you want to get back to skating, so I really appreciate you talking with me.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
That was Takina Pollock-Schaefer speaking with our very own Robin Doyon-Aitken. You can see when you can roll through at skateportct.com. By the way, Connecticut public photographer Ryan Karen King and social media rock star Janae Spinato joined the party. Check out what they saw at ctpublic.org/audacious. When we get back, hear how the men's national jam skating champion transforms when he's on wheels.
In the rink, I am my most goofiest self. When I'm at home, I am I'm a lot more reserved. I don't like coming out the house.
Then meet a man who invented a suit that turns his whole body into a giant roller skate. I'm Kyone Wolf. This is Audacious. Roll with me.
So unfasten that sleeper on your neck. Connected like a vibe from the wheel to the foot. Come on, everybody, get the funky output.
5 days you work, 1 whole day to play. Come on, everybody, wear your roller skates today. It's Saturday, Saturday, Saturday.
This is Audacious. I'm Kyone Wolf. Jam skating is a high-octane blend of breakdancing, acrobatics, freestyle skating, and flat-out swagger. And LeRoy Mcsmith is the 2024 Men's National Jam Skating Champion. Skating got him to this point, but it also helped carry him through some of the hardest chapters of his life. And now with a national title under his belt, he's looking to stay true to himself and the rhythm that got him there. But let's skate fakie for a sec. That means going backwards. LeRoy tells me about the first time he strapped on a pair of skates.
As soon as I was able to walk, my mom took me out to the rink. She put me on the plastic skates, the one that make all the noise. And she just let me go. And I did pretty amazing.
Yeah, I'd say you did. So for someone who doesn't know what jam skating is, how do you describe it?
I would describe jam skating as a breakdancing aspect of roller skating. Me personally, I'm not a jam skater. I know how to incorporate their style into my style.
So if you don't describe yourself as a jam skater, how do you describe yourself in this context?
I describe myself as an athletic skater. So I have the ability to break dance. I have the ability to flip. I have the ability to do karate moves on skates. And a lot of people are afraid of that. So they try to water it down. So I would consider my style more daredevilish.
So how did you find this sport, or did it find you?
Skating found me because I stopped skating once I hit middle school. It wasn't my thing. I got into the rifle team at ROTC, so I was shooting targets and seeing where that was going to take me. But once I got to high school, I met a good friend of mine. His name is Donald. He asked me, because I just got to the school, brand new school. On the second day, he asked me, he was like, hey, do you want to go skating? It's $1 night at All American. And I was like, I got $1. I got my own skates. I've had them for the past since middle school. So why not? So he took me skating, and just the music, the ambiance, the freedom, the ability to go as fast as I want, do tricks, and unlocking new things, it worked for me, and it helped my ADHD out so well.
How did you figure out what your body wanted to do? Was it partially just listening to your body? Was it partially watching what other people did? Any other sort of inputs?
When I first got to the rink, I had speed skates. They were beat up. They had duct tape all over them. So I'm trying stuff. I didn't see anybody really doing too much crazy things. So I've seen people spinning. That was like, okay. I seen people dipping. I was like, okay, that's easy. And I met somebody like a year later down the line, and he had a pair of boots that were just my size. And he was like, hey, you can buy them off me for $125. And once that happened, I seen some other guys come in that started teaching me ATL style, and they told me everything I need to go look for. So I just went on YouTube. I typed in roller skating competitions, roller skating jams, or whatever I could find, and I just dove all the way into the rabbit hole.
When you are in the zone, I want to hear about how much you are utterly present and not thinking about what your body is doing, and how much you are tapped into maybe a hyper consciousness of what you want to be doing next. Like, how much is this present and how much is it planned?
It's about 10% present. The rest is just freedom. When I do get into those modes, and it's kind of hard for me now because I skate so much and there's always something going on around me, or I have to pay attention to this. I have to watch people do that, and I have to make sure I'm clearing myself before I even throw a move. But when I do have the opportunity to just go into the middle and just listen to the music and let the music take over, I'm on Pluto 100% of the time. I am not there.
How much of the allure of the sport is that being able to just go away?
It's about the full thing. I try to allow it to happen when I walk through the door, because my main goal is, what can I do today that I didn't do last session? And if I can't achieve that, you still got some work to do. I always like to perform. I always like to hear the oohs and ahs. And I always like to bring something new. So if I don't get a ooh last session and I get a ooh this session, that means I did something different to step up my game and keep the crowd here with me.
So in a way, you're using the crowd as input to grow.
Oh, yes, 100%. That is like my gauge. I have to continue to put on this character every time I go into the ring.
Do you ever think you'll be done? I don't mean done in terms of retired, although that's a different question, but like, will you ever be satisfied?
I don't think I have the ability to be satisfied, because there's always somebody that's better than me. There's always somebody that's on my tail. Something is always in the rear view or right in front of me. So I don't think I'll ever be satisfied. Like, currently, I'm a great skater. But one thing most people don't know about me is that I cannot spin. So that's a little bit of information.
Is that something you're working on?
It is. I'm trying my hardest.
Why do you think that's hard for you?
I was just never a spinning person. Now, I have one spin that I can do perfectly. It's a toe spin, and I can do 80 different variations of it. But if you ask me to spin on 2 feet, 1 foot, yeah, no, you lost me.
Not happening. Well, I mean, you got to have some sort of Achilles heel, so to speak.
Yes, 100%.
That makes it interesting.
100%.
Is there a song that is your song to skate to?
No, not really. I change the music every time I do skate because I don't want to get used to skating to the same thing, especially like when you get on jobs. You may or may not be skating to something you like or something you know. So I always place myself in different realms. Like currently, I'm listening to Mesmerized by Faith Evans. It's very smooth. It's given the house and you can skate to it very well. Now, if I go cut on some heavy metal or Suicide Silence, everybody's like, what are you listening to?
You mentioned jobs. Tell me about some of these jobs.
My very first job was on Doom Patrol. That was, I want to say, right as COVID hit. That was my breakthrough. That let me know that I can use these talents to get to where I want to be. I've done Nike. I've done Adidas. I've done the halftime show for the NBA Finals. And I am currently on Usher's tour.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah. And there's a lot of other side jobs like commercials, banquets, and all that. So,
Have you ever gotten hurt doing all this?
yes, I have broken my collarbone. I have broken my ankle. I have broken my thumb. Yeah, it's a extensive rap sheet.
When you broke your collarbone, were you still able to skate?
I was told not to, but I didn't listen.
But when you hurt your ankle, that probably set you back a while, yeah?
I didn't go to the rinks outside. I went to like a basketball court or a tennis court, had my boot on, and still tried to do stuff. You can't sit down. Just because you lose one limb doesn't mean life is stopping.
You still got another limb. Then you could really learn how to spin.
Exactly.
Eh?
Yeah. And that's how I learned that spin.
What is something that skating has taught you about yourself?
That I'm not disciplined enough. If I get frustrated on something, I will leave it alone. I won't even revisit it unless I have to or somebody's forcing me to. So discipline is definitely that thing.
And that is so relative because I'm listening to you talk about all that you've done and all you've achieved and all you're doing now. And to me, I'm thinking, man, this guy is disciplined to get here, but not on your standards.
No, not at all. I still procrastinate. I still wait till the last minute. It gets bad.
How would you say the LeRoy on skates is different than the everyday LeRoy that's maybe hanging out with friends, going for a walk, just hanging out by yourself? What's different about you on skates personally, spiritually, in any other way?
In the rink, I am my most goofiest self. Nobody can tell me anything. You can't tell me not to do this move. You can't tell me to go sit down. You can't tell me to go here or no. Be quiet. Let me do me. When I'm at home, I'm a lot more reserved. I don't like coming out the house. I like to stay in the room, read a book, play the game, watch TV, kick it with the family. I don't really care for going outside. I did that when I was real young, and it's old for me.
Do you have any pre-performance rituals or like lucky socks or songs you listen to, things you say to yourself, anything like that before you go on, especially for a big competition or performance?
I take a moment of silence and I cover my whole body in the grace of God, and I pick up my crown from my feet and I put it on my head every time. That is my pre-show ritual, competition ritual, skating ritual. That's what I do.
There is a video of you competing at the National Jam Skating Championship last summer when you won the title, and it almost looks as if you are levitating. You make it look so freaking easy. But of course, it's a dance with gravity. It's like a relationship that you've built with gravity and yourself and the crowd. When you won that title, tell me how that felt.
I was out of breath. I was more so focused on catching my breath and linking up with my teammates because I competed in the very final battle against my teammate. And it was a dog fight. So I was glad that me and him made it to the end. But I was shocked because I'm not from their world of skating. And I'm bringing all my craft over to this world. And you have to do something different in order to win. You can't just go in here with the fancy footwork and leave it at that. You have to give these people a show. And we did that, and I'm glad I came out on top. Will I do it again? Possibly, maybe. Don't know yet.
Behind a big competition like that, there's always a vibe. I mean, people are nervous. People have invested a lot of time, money, a lot of sacrifice to compete in these things. I wonder, are people overall hyping each other up? Are they in their own zones? Are there side eyes? Like, what's the vibe like before a competition like that?
I'll be 100% transparent with you. Sometimes you go to these skate events and people will side eye you. They get intimidated, and that's perfectly fine. Like, you have to realize you have to constantly elevate to keep yourself relevant in this game. The same way basketball players go practice and do their homework and research, same way football players do, same way skaters do. It's not a day that goes by that I don't watch at least 40 skate videos and take a little bit of something from everybody. I will say that I do use people moves, but I just add my own flair to it. So
If you could skate in a place that's not a rink or a road, where would you want to skate?
I would want to skate on the top of Mount Fuji. If they just put like a platform out there, a couple of heaters, a couple of speakers, I'd be good to go. The view would be great. Red Bull, contact me.
Yeah, and make it a big rink too.
Yeah, so I can throw everything.
Yeah, I think sometimes I love riding my bike, and there's this reservoir a couple miles away from me, and there's part of the res where it goes down really steep. But people share the reservoir too, so I have to be riding my brakes as I go down this steep hill. And I every time I go down it as I'm riding my brakes, but still going kind of fast, all I keep thinking is, heaven is no brakes. And I want that for you.
Yep, I appreciate that.
Was there ever a moment in your life when you were going through something personally challenging that skating helped you through it?
I will be 100% vulnerable right now. I went to jail for 4 months, and my second month in, I was so depressed, didn't know what I was doing, didn't know where I was going to go when I got out. That second month hit, they used to play music on the TV. I didn't care what the music was. I was in my room skating on socks. And I don't even know what made me get up and do that, but I was sweating. I cried. And I got released on my birthday. And as soon as I got released, I went straight to the rink.
How'd that feel?
Amazing. I threw some things I never thought I would throw. I was so locked in, had a fresh new pair of skates. I was so happy.
Thanks for sharing that. If you could go back to yourself as a little kid, strapping those skates on for the first time, maybe a little nervous, a little excited, what would you like him to know about the foundation he's laying down for you?
I would tell him, don't listen to nobody that isn't trying to achieve what you're trying to achieve, for sure.
When you think about your future, I imagine that really the boundaries are, how long can your body do this? Is that the only limit you have, or are there any others?
Definitely just my body. I personally feel like I'm immortal. I have it tattooed on my leg. I can do this for the next 80 years if my body allows it.
Is there, I know you'll never be satisfied, but is there like a pinnacle for you when it comes to skating? Or is it always going to be just improvement, improvement, improvement? And I would say until you die, but you're not going to die.
Right. Thank you. Improvement is definitely number 2 on the list. But I would love to be sponsored by Red Bull. That would just blow my mind. If it could be like a group of us and we're just their skaters, that would be amazing. Because I'm willing to do some stuff on skates that a lot of people aren't.
I just thought of this question, and I want to say forgive me if it's too personal, but that's what we're here for. But are you single?
No, I'm not. I have a beautiful wife.
You have a beautiful wife. Okay. How did you meet?
At the rink.
How did you know she was the one for you?
Our first encounter, I walked past her and I saw her sitting on the floor, and I told her in her ear, I said, "Get up. I don't want my wife sitting on the floor."
What?
Yep.
LeRoy.
Yep. Very forward.
You manifested this whole thing.
I did.
How did she respond to that?
She got up and laughed in my face. Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Wow. Do you want kids?
I want twins.
Well, you manifested the wife, so you're gonna manifest the twins. Congratulations in advance.
Thank you. You know.
Will they get a pair of skates around a certain age?
Oh, yeah. 100%. I have to see if they will retain the gene that I get and my wife has.
What age?
As soon as they start walking, I'm going to put them on skates.
LeRoy Mcsmith, thank you so much for talking with me.
Yes, ma'am. You have a great evening.
After the break, meet the inventor of a jumpsuit with many small inline-style wheels placed on the major joints, the torso, and the back. It allows him to go down mountains at high speeds and very low to the ground.
You wear it, you transform, you change your identity. The legs are longer, the arms are longer, you have protection, so you look stronger even if you're likely very thin. You become more than human.
I'm Kyone Wolf. This is Audacious. Stay tuned. This is Audacious. I'm Kyone Wolf. If you've ever dreamed of turning into a human transformer, flying down hills at 70 miles an hour with wheels literally all over your body, first of all, you are so cool. Second of all, you are not alone. Jean-Yves Blondeau, most people call him Roller Man, invented the buggy roll-in wheel suit. Here's how he describes it.
It's a robot transformer. It's an armor with wheels. So you have wheels on your hand, on your elbow, on your knee, on your chest, on your back, and under your butt, and of course under your feet that envelope the body of many wheels.
Now, this wasn't just some random cool idea he had in his garage. Jean-Yves went really deep into this. At the School of Design in Paris, he immersed himself in how the human body moves, balances, and senses the world. He studied the mechanics of locomotion, how the brain and body respond to gravity, how athletes behave under extreme stress, even how teenagers confront mortality as a rite of passage. I told you, he goes deep. Jean-Yves drew from physics, acrobatics, zero-gravity research, circus performance, and high-level Olympic training. He was trying to figure out how to make speed and motion something your whole body experiences, not just your feet. Jean-Yves didn't just invent this suit and keep it to himself. He built one for Jackie Chan to wear in the 2012 movie Chinese Zodiac. And if there's anyone who knows a thing or two about wild stunts, it's Jackie Chan. In his long career, he's been kicked, flipped, launched, and set on fire, and made it all look so natural. Here he is at Comic-Con summarizing what he thinks of Jean-Yves.
This guy is crazy.
So, how does it feel to wear this special suit that turns him into a full-body rocket?
You wear it, you transform, you change your identity. The legs are longer, the arms are longer, you have protection, so you look stronger even if you're likely very thin. And you have this ability, which is not normal for a human, is to roll in every position on every surface. So we are living in the same world. But when I wear the suits, my brain will switch with reading the space. With every surface I can put my wheels on, which is not only the floor, because buggy rolling, you can put the arms, put the back. And if your ceiling is lower, you start to play with the roof again. If you are in the tube, then you reread the word. So in your mind, you create a new word with this ability of rolling.
Will you describe what it feels like to put the suit on and lie down and go?
When you first put the suit on, suddenly you want to scrape something, because it's an armor, and then you touch yourself with the wheels, and then you understand that the contact with the word is different. And then it's more heavy. And then how the people look at you, it's not the same thing. You really change the identity. You become more than human who has the possibility of rolling. Okay. I'm on the top of the mountain. First, I have to remember, I try to not be so afraid. I know the street. I know how long it is. I check the floor. I check the weather. I check if there are cars on the road. Okay, relax. Because when you're on the top of the downhill, it's very scary. Then you lay down. I lay down, open my legs.
And you lie down on your belly.
Yes. And suddenly, you're very low to the floor. So people are bigger than you. You can watch under the car. If there is a dog, the dog is bigger. If there's a bench, you can maybe pass under the bench. So the dimension is completely different. You're 20 times less high, and you're very close to the floor. So the first thing I remember is you watch the floor, and the floor becomes very fast blur. And then you watch up, and so you forget about what the floor looks like. You just point out where you go, and then it's accelerating. So you decide on the side of the street where you're going to be, because normally in mountain there are curves, so you have to prepare the next curve to be in the right place to brake, etc. So first you try to brake to see if everything is all right, if the arms are working, the legs are working. Okay, the downhill is pushing, it's accelerating, the noise is going up, the vibration is going up.
Is there a smell?
The smell, you smell a little bit the floor. If you are in the city and it's dirty, you smell the dirty things. You have the air, you have the sensation which goes on everywhere on the body. The sensation goes in the hand, in the elbow, and so you read through here, and the chest is vibrating, so it's pressing the chest. If you drink just before, you have the bubbles, and you have to make the balance. But the really trick thing is to understand that there's a maximum of speed according to the downhill, so you don't need to fight against that. You have to play with that.
What's the maximum?
Actually, it's more than 100 kilometers per hour. I'm 126.
So like 80 miles an hour on our side.
But then with the speed, there are some effects. The first thing is the side of the street will come to you more fast, Suddenly it's narrow. And then you focus to the point, and the sound change, because the wheels, when you go over 80s, around 90s, the vibration is different. So there's this very special thing when you come in the 100 kilometers per hour, the sound change, the vibration changes. And I put my arms behind me, so I have the full field in front of me, and I turn with pushing my elbow, my shoulder a little bit down, so it's really flying like an airplane. And then very fast, street goes very narrow, you see only the point, you become just a line, and you focus to where you're going. The space is compressing.
Okay. You beautifully described what is happening in the body and in the suit and on the road when you're going downhill. I want to know what it feels like. How much of you is thinking strategically and what's coming up next and sort of frontal lobe stuff, and how much of you is just enjoying the ride?
It's meditating. It's a Buddha mind state, but it is not static. It's completely dynamic. You're in the perfect place, but the place is changing all the time. You're the perfect motion, but the motion is changing all the time. The information who goes through your body is not the normal way. With buggy rolling, when you become the roller man and when you wear the suit, so the brain is saying, oh, this is sensation coming from here. I'm not used to have sensation coming from here. So the brain is, what I deal with that? Do I make more pressure, less pressure, correct the angulation? Should I have to anticipate something? First thing. Secondly, it's a fireworks of information in the brain. And that makes the brain getting so many information, and you have to decide what you do with this information, because you have to stay alive and keep on being in the perfect place with the perfect motion. So that switch on everything. So you need all the processing. I compare that to what it would be to be a cyborg, where you have this robot body and you have to deal with these abilities and with all these data, and you have to compute in advance how will be the floor, if it's slidey, if it's rough, you need to brake or you need to accelerate, you need to be efficient. And that is when you're alone. If there's other people, you have to calculate the trajectory of the other people in front of you or behind you or whatever. It's on the left, on the right. I have a corridor here. Did see me or not see me? I have to go and say, hello, I'm here. And then you can pass because you know somebody's here. It's just amazing, the quantity of information you have. And it's like a cyborg.
Is there any time when you're doing this that you just get to go, wee? Or like, is it always feel, vibration, look, what's coming next? Who am I looking out for? Is there any time where you get to just have fun?
Yes. So there are some streets where it's a long, straight downhill, and then you're okay. You don't need to calculate all that. And then I open more the eyes and I watch the grass, I watch the cow, I watch the marmot, and I watch it's a traveling. So I watch how the shape is passing, how the mountain is discovering itself, how the valley is changing in front of me. No, it's very enjoying. You shift to cruising mode, where you just enjoy the cruise and you open all your sense and you just enjoy it. Yes. The wee, well, as you say, this is very special thing. When you go on the back, small downhill, head first. That means you're using a part of the view field, which is very narrow to your airbrow here. And you have to imagine you put your trajectory in a space, an angulation of 5 to 10 degree opening, where you never put a trajectory on that. And you have to find your path in this little thing. When you do that in the night, there's a shift in the mind. Then you understand that you are locked on the planet because of gravity. You stay on the planet because the gravity catch you and you see the stars in front of you, and that's puts you on the right direction. And that position, I call it Star Wars, because it's a mind shift.
When you finish a ride and it's time to take the suit off, how does that feel?
Usually you're very happy. You're full of nice thing in the head of memory of, like you saw the sunshine running after you through the branches, or so you have first this memory, very nice. You feel tired, exhausted, happy, and peace. Most of the time you're laughing too much. you're like this. Yeah. When you take off the suit, you are stronger because you don't have to support this heavy thing anymore. So you want to have a warm bath, relax the body completely, and then it's good to have a lover. Because the heart is open, you want to care, and it's flowing.
Well, Jean-Yves Blondeau, merci de m'avoir parlé.
Very nice. Thanks for your nice questions. Wish you one more time lots of success with your radio show.
This radio show is produced avec amour by Jessica Severin D. Martinez, Meg Fitzgerald, and Robin Doyon Aitken at Connecticut Public Radio in Hartford. If you like this episode, we have so many more we'll link you to at ctpublic.org/audacious or wherever you get your podcasts. Stay in touch with me on the socials at Kyone Wolf. You can always send an email to audacious@ctpublic.org. Peace.